You're gonna
It's all this lab grown stuff. I'm like,
you want
that's
the lab
kinda
grown stuff,
scary.
right? The impossible
scary.
meat.
That's-
Now we're dealing with trade all over the world.
Wow.
So you have to
And,
be competitive.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
But you can't get better than
Yeah,
Valley
but you can't
Farms.
you can't get better than like
Hello, folks. This is another episode of U-Turn with Kevin.
and Emma.
And we have another fantastic guest for you today. All right, guys, you know the big thing that's going on with what you should eat, what you should not eat, what is getting put into the food, and especially now we got a new health administrator, and they're really big on natural foods, which I know I'm a big fan of it, so much that I asked my farmer to come on and tell us about what she's been doing, how she's been doing. So everyone, I have Melissa here with the wonderful smile from Valley Farms. And she is, how long you say your farm has been around for?
over 100 years.
Over
Yeah.
100 years. So
Super exciting.
that is exciting. So this is not someone who just tried it. I know we got a lot of people out there on YouTube trying to grow a potato. But this is real deal. So we're going to get it straight. I can't say from the horse's mouth, but how can we say straight from the cow's mother mouth? Yeah, matter of fact, you even told me that I could come and pick out my cow last time.
I did. They are in the lot. They hang out. They're in the pasture. They're just happy and grazing.
Yes.
And you
can
get to
just
pick 'em.
drive by and look
Yeah.
at one and say, I want to eat that one.
Yes, yes.
As long as it's not a heifer or a cow.
Okay,
Yes.
so I don't know the difference.
Okay, a heifer is a cow or a bovine that
Okay.
has not had a calf yet.
Oh.
And a cow is a bovine that has had a cow or a calf.
Okay, so you can't eat either one of those?
Well, we don't eat them. You can eat them,
Okay.
but we don't eat them because we keep the heifers for breeding purposes.
Okay.
And then, of course, the cows are breeding. So if you're born a female on Valley View Farm, you are a little more fortunate than the poor steers.
Oh, so the steers get
Yeah, unless you're
Just
you're
like
a
in life.
bull, then that's another story too. So if you are a steer, you are castrated. If you are a bull, you are not, and you
Okay.
can be used for breeding. So
so a bull gets bred and a steer gets eaten.
yes.
Okay.
so
So
either
how,
way, the
how
guy's
do you
supposed to
know
work.
if it's a bull or a steer?
Bulls have, like in their midsection, they have a little different plumbing than the females. The females' plumbing is under their tail,
Okay.
Okay.
and the bull and steer, their plumbing is under their body, like in the
Ah,
middle.
Interesting.
Yes.
So how do you decide which is going to be the bull and which one is going to be the steer?
Most of them are steers.
Okay.
We purchased a bull a few years back for breeding purposes.
Okay, okay.
He's registered.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's been through testing and qualifications.
So you get
and
one
Yeah.
bull, and then he got to do all the work.
We have two bulls.
And he gotta do all the
yeah,
work.
they get to do all the work.
They the studs
Yeah.
around there.
yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
knows.
it's all their little harem.
Yeah.
Man, they must need some pills or something when they done. I'm talking about headache pills, right?
You know-
Dealing with a bunch of cows. You know what I'm saying?
and you're the only two there.
Right.
You would think our bull would be like a lot nicer to me because I feed him and
Yeah.
he gets to live this life, but
Right.
he doesn't like me. He likes everybody else.
He
but
doesn't
does
like
not
you.
me.
No.
What does he do?
He's mean. He'll take his hoof and he'll paw the ground and he'll snort at me and he throws his head. And
Like
He's a jerk.
He's like, I don't want any part of this.
yeah, and when I feed him, he's like, okay. She's feeding me, so I'll be nice for like the 2 seconds that she's feeding me. But
Yeah.
So your parents had this farm.
my parents, my grandparents, and my great grandparents, as far as I know, I don't know how far it goes back, but
Wow.
yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So are you any brothers and sisters?
I have a brother.
Does-
He has the irrigation business that
Okay.
my dad started years ago. So
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, that's what he does.
So everything's just kind of family run,
Yes.
which is super cool.
Yes.
So what made you stay and continue the farm?
Loyalty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never done anything really. Never done anything else really in my life.
Really?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it just made sense.
Yeah, I
It
mean, I
just
worked
made-
at the Dairy Queen when I was 16, but that's probably not a career.
Right,
So, so
right.
other than that, this is the only job I've ever had. So
Well,
Yeah.
you do it very well, because I remember when the first time we met, we was at Lowe's, right?
yes,
And
So
I
you
was-
guys met at Lowe's.
We did. We met at Lowe's,
Just
and I
by
was.
chance or just
It was really by chance, because I was there and I was telling, hey, I'm down in the farm. I don't know what I'm doing, right?
Mhm.
And I was trying to ask people what to do. And then she said, "You on a farm?" I said, "Yeah." Well, I said, "I don't know about a farm." And then she said she was on a farm. I said, "Really? What kind of farm?" And then that's where it started. Next thing you know, I started buying meat from her.
yes.
And it's been great.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
some of the best meat I've ever tasted in my life.
I appreciate that.
Even with me
Thank
cooking
you.
it.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you. Yeah, I have a guy that works with me,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
and he does a lot of the
butchering
does-
and yeah.
no, he does a lot of the like care
Oh,
and
okay.
like the feed, how we feed them and stuff
Yes.
like that. And he spends a lot of time with the cows, so
Yeah.
I got to give him more credit than
Yeah.
Well,
myself,
let's-
actually. But
Well,
yeah.
it's fantastic. I tell you, I'm not known. I come from a big family, and I'm not known for being the cooker in the family,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not. However, I'm always the one to entertain, and it's easy. Man, I can take some steaks out, I can take some burgers out, and I pop them on. And everybody like this. Dude, this is incredible. I like this. Well, you know. That's
But it's really all Melissa.
Right.
It's really all
Yeah,
Melissa.
you can't mess it up. When it's good meat, you can't mess it up.
Yeah.
Well, that's our goal, is to make you look good.
Yeah, well, you do a good
Yeah,
job of that.
So
Thank you.
I feel like it's crazy how one act of kindness, because that was you just being kind and seeing how he needed help, and now
Yeah, I was just
Now
kind of
you
being
probably-
nosy and interrupted
yeah,
this conversation.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
then even funnier. Then we come to find out. I come back, then I start telling everybody, I'm about to buy some meat, blah 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 blah. And then the next thing they go like this. I said, matter of fact, she's from St. Anne, right? And they go St. Anne, and then and come to find out, Karen and Kim actually went to school with her.
that's
And they just thought it
Yeah.
was just the craziest thing ever. Like,
Yeah,
Melissa,
just by chance.
Mercier.
Yep, and we were really good friends.
Yeah.
All through high school and
Remember,
still,
don't say
yep.
nothing, Karen, unless you want to come in front of the camera. She's, come on, I'll get you a chair right over here. All right.
that's also crazy, like how when you think about it, how everyone's life is like an invisible string, like everyone's connected in some way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So that's crazy.
Yes.
It's crazy to
Yes.
think about that.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of like the invisible string theory?
I've never heard about the invisible string theory.
It's really cool. So it's basically like an invisible string, like between you and like some people, and like there's people out there like you know them, but you don't realize at the time how big a part of your life that they're gonna be. So like you may
Well,
meet someone,
Right.
and then it kind of like plants the seed, and then later on, like just in passing,
And
like
then now we're
hey,
doing a
like
podcast.
yeah,
It was like the thing called you call it a visible string, but back in the day we used to call it 6 degrees of separation.
That's what I was going to
Right?
say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 6 degrees of
Yes.
separation, right?
Yes.
They-
Yeah.
So this is kind of a funny story. Me and Zach actually worked at Target together.
The Zach that was here earlier?
No, my
Oh, you're Zach.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
and then whatever. I mean, I was in high school, so I was like, we just like would chit chat here and there. I mean, a couple years later, now we have 2 kids and own a
They're
house
in
together.
love.
Like
they
just so
own a house
weird.
and in love together. So.
Yeah,
So
like,
working
just-
at Target.
Yeah,
My
and
daughter
like
worked at Target all through college.
yeah, and just
Yeah.
didn't even think anything
Yeah.
of it. Just like never thought anything of him or anything. And I mean, it just worked out. So it's
and-
like that's part of an invisible string thing.
So now now that daughter's the doctor now?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So
Did not clock in at 5. She left
She did.
after 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
did.
that, yeah, what?
Yes,
Yeah,
she
how do you say about farmers? What's the deal about farmers?
You clock in at 5 years old and you never clock out.
Yeah. So she clocked out and she's doing
She
big
did.
things.
Yes,
Yes.
she did.
Does she
Oh
ever
my
come back
gosh.
around on the
Oh,
farm?
yeah.
Yeah.
She's not too far away now. She was in Utah for 3 years and now she's back in
Yeah.
the area. So sometimes she stays with me and sometimes she's at her boyfriend's parents. And
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
I-
they're saving for a house,
oh
which is
nice.
a big deal and kind of hard to do right now.
Oh
so,
my
yeah.
gosh, so difficult.
Well, you know what the funny part is? Now, that's what I was talking about, references to YouTube. Now everybody wants to be a farmer, right? Everybody. I've
Yes.
seen people leaving like corporate America and moving out to the farm. And I've just moved down to this area, and it's nothing like the peace that's getting away from the hustle and bustle
Yeah.
and just, sitting back on my porch and realizing I don't have to hear all the craziness, you know?
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
it's
Yes.
beautiful. So we're trying to dabble our little self in just a little garden farmer, but none of the
Hey.
major stuff.
You know what? I
Everyone has to
admire
start
everybody
somewhere.
that does that
Yeah.
because it's nowadays it's a good thing to do to try to sustain yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because you don't know what's in the food. You don't.
You really don't.
You know, that's one thing about our cows. They eat on our pasture.
Yeah.
We plant the seed. We
Mhm.
put fertilizer on it, but it doesn't get pesticides on it.
Wow.
They eat hay.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, grown
Yeah.
by us,
Right.
baled by us, everything.
Okay.
And then we do finish them up with cracked corn,
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
but that's how come they taste so good.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that do grass-fed beef, and I don't know how they do it, but
Okay.
I know we finish ours up with grain,
Mm.
and that's my opinion of what makes them taste so good. But
So is it like right before they pass away, you feed them that, or
When
no?
they
Is
start
it
getting
like
for about a month, and then they get it periodically on and off
Okay.
while they're doing it. I mean,
Yeah.
the cows and the calves, they get it too, just because they like it so
Yeah.
much. Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so funny because when you pull up, like my pickup or John who works for me, his pickup,
Yeah.
they know it.
yeah,
They know
know.
that pickup, and they will run straight to the trough. Like,
Oh.
are you bringing us corn?
Yeah,
That's
that's
my favorite,
funny.
you know?
Yeah.
They still want to
Yeah.
know, right?
Yep, and the cows are funny too because when you put some bale of hay out there, they like attack it, and it's so funny because right now we're calving it, so we have like babies that are anywhere from just a few days old to a couple weeks,
Mm.
and they'll go up to the hay bale and act like they're doing something. And so there's one little heifer. She is so funny because she walks around. She's like 2 weeks old, and she walks
Uh-huh.
around with
2
this
weeks.
string of hay
Yeah.
out of her mouth all the time.
Like
She's just the cutest little thing.
just like a
Aw.
toothpick. Huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how many do you have there?
We have, I think we are up to, I want to say about 45.
Wow.
So,
Oh,
yeah,
Oh
That's
my
a
goodness.
lot.
yeah.
How many acres is it?
They're probably on, there's 3 different sets. They're at 3 different places, and they're probably on about 5 acres each.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
on 15 acres. And
So that's an all
Yeah.
day. That's an all day job.
yes, one of them, like there's 10 of them, and they're at a different farm, and that's not our farm, but John, who works for me,
Mhm.
he's renting that from a pasture and a barn from another guy. So,
Okay.
Mm.
yeah, but they're in a little bit different place. They're all kind of close together, but they're in a little bit different place.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, are you guys only cows, or do you produce anything else?
Oh no, we farm a lot.
Okay.
We do a lot of row
Yeah.
crops. We do mostly corn and soybeans.
Really?
Okay.
Yes.
Like corn on the cob?
No.
I was
Do
about to say,
you-
tell me something.
No.
How did I miss out on that?
No, like our corn is like for commercial corn. It goes
Okay.
for corn syrup. It goes for dog food. It goes
Wow.
corn flakes. I can't remember what all that it goes into, but it goes into a lot of different products.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yes.
do you nationally sell that? I assume.
We usually sell it to our local elevator because
Okay.
that's the most feasible for us.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
we have
most
grain
sense.
storage at the farm.
Okay.
Do you know what an elevator is?
Yeah, one of those like silo things, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The local.
yeah.
You say you sell it to the local elevator?
Yeah, we sell it to the local elevator, and then one of the elevators that we sell to is Shabance, and
Okay.
they'll take it, and it'll go into containers that
Uh-huh.
go either on semis or onto a train.
Yeah.
I think it's mostly train.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we do a lot of business with FS and St. Anne,
Okay.
and they're right on the rail.
Okay.
So it goes mostly on train cars, and
Wow.
then it goes to the processing plant, or it goes wherever it goes.
Yeah,
so next
wherever
time we
it
see
needs
that
to.
train, just be patient. We know
Yes.
it's doing a
Yes.
good thing.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause some of them have green in them, and yeah. So yeah, and it goes. Some of our grain goes to the out west
Uh-huh.
because they have a lot of drought out there, and
Yeah.
they have a hard
Okay.
time raising crops.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of animals, so
Yeah.
a lot of our grain goes there. Some of our grain goes to other countries. Some of it goes to Mexico. Some of it goes to Canada. Some of it goes to China.
Wow.
That's
So-
super cool. Like, there's a little piece of you all around the
All
world.
over the world,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's super cool. And you don't ever think about that. I mean, maybe people do, but not me.
I
Like I don't
didn't
ever
think,
think about. I don't ever think about that. Like
Yeah, because you think a local farmer, right? And then here you are,
Yeah.
you're servicing the whole world. That's
Right,
Yeah.
amazing.
right.
which
Well,
is super cool.
Yeah, and I can remember like years ago when my dad taught me how to market grain, it was a lot easier because it was only what was going on in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like if you were having drought in Kankakee County and Iroquois County,
Yeah.
the price would go up
Mm-hmm.
because there was a shortage there.
Right.
Yeah.
And, you know, if it was abundant, it might stay flat. And
Yeah.
for like soybeans, we're always hearing about Brazil
Always.
and Argentina and
Mhm.
if there's a drought or
Yeah.
if they're doing well. And yeah, who would have ever thought? I
Yeah.
mean,
It's
No.
a global
Yeah.
market. That is amazing.
Yes.
So, oh,
yeah.
wow.
So it makes it a little tougher and a little
Yeah.
challenging for us, like especially with the soybeans because you just never know. Like they'll say, "Oh, they're in a drought."
Yeah.
So then the price
Goes
should
up.
go up, but it doesn't always
Yeah.
because there might be rain. You
Right.
know.
Yeah.
And then what's going on here? Like if we have a good crop here, that matters too. So
Yeah. So
yeah.
it's all.
it's just yeah.
So with the cows, do you only sell locally, or do you sell all over the world with the cows as well?
No, we've been selling locally, like to people like Kevin.
Yeah.
Love that. Love
Yeah.
that. Come check out Melissa at Valley Farms.
I
The
know, I'll
meat
have to
is
get your number.
incredible.
I'll have to get your number
Incredible.
after
Do what?
I'll have to get your number.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
it is
because
incredible.
we've been
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about
it is
buying
incredible.
some cows.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it doesn't. It
appreciate
doesn't
that.
even taste the same. It really doesn't.
No.
And here's the deal. I used to go out a lot, right? I used to go out and eat. Now it doesn't even. It doesn't
not the
compare.
same.
It's not the
Yeah,
same.
it's not the same.
You can make your steak at home better than going out to paying a couple $100 for one or $100 for one. You just like this.
Yeah, because I know like
Mm.
restaurants and stuff like that, they tend to get better quality meat than what you can get at like a store.
At the store.
Homemade. I mean,
You
not
can't-
homemade. It is kind of
Can't get better
homemade.
than- Can't get better than that.
It
Can't get
is
it.
kind of homemade in a sense.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know she said I could come pick out my cow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Now, you know, I started to, and I was just like this, you know, maybe not. I was all for it, but the wife was like this, Kevin, you can't. I'm like this, we gotta eat it. I just want to know it. I'm coming this year, though.
Okay. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're more than welcome to come out there. There's some of them though that if we ever had to do anything with them, I couldn't take them. I couldn't load them up. and take 'em.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Because you get real close to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I try not to do that with the ones that I know are going.
Yeah.
But like our cows,
Aw.
they all have names. Even if it's just their ear tag number,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
all have names. They all have personalities.
Really?
Yeah, there's actually a couple out there that you can pet. Like they're not animals that like to be touched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they're standoffish, and
Yeah.
if you come up to them like very quickly, they're gonna take off.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of them that you can rub their neck, and there's one of them that'll even come up to me and she'll rub her neck on my leg.
Aw.
Yeah. And then a
That'll
year
be
ago,
tough, huh?
yeah, a year ago I had a bottle calf, and if anything ever happened to her, I would just like
Aw.
I couldn't.
Aw.
It's like I'm her mom, you
Oh.
know.
Yeah.
I've
I mean,
been-
you fed her and
yeah,
you.
yeah, and she's just every time you go in the lot, she's right there. You're like,
You're
And I
like, what's
walk.
going on?
This
Yeah,
is
yeah,
Space
yeah, yeah.
Sweetheart.
So she loves you, huh?
She does. She's friendly to everybody else too, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, she's a little special. So yeah.
So do they ever have any other local students and do anybody ever come out there for like
we
it?
don't.
No?
We don't. No, but that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my aunt lives in Fort Wayne, Indiana, like Churubusco area. There's a lot of farms. She lives out in the middle of nowhere. They actually have a farm out there. I seen a baby cow get birth. Like you can just walk around and the cow just happened to be giving birth at the time that I was there. But like
yeah.
you could just walk around and you can see all their animals and stuff. I mean, they do also sell whatever.
Mhm.
But it is really cool.
It
It
is
was a
very
really
cool.
cool, and I think it was like $20 for all of us.
Oh.
So I mean, it was
Oh.
pretty cool.
So
Yeah.
you know, think about it, because kids need to know how stuff grows, right? They need to know where it comes
Right.
from.
They need
Yeah.
to know hamburger doesn't come from the store.
From McDonald's,
Yeah.
especially.
Right.
I keep telling them that's not
McDonald's.
real food, okay? That's
Yeah.
not real
No.
food.
No.
There's not enough cows in the world for how much that they do to make it make sense. I
right.
feel like.
Right. And you know, now is a good time to do the cattle thing because I think they say every day there's a report out that there's less cattle now than there has been in years.
Really?
Mhm.
Yep. So it's a good time. I mean,
So I need to
that's why
stack up.
that's why it's a little bit more expensive. Like
Yeah.
sometimes, and we try not to.
Like
Well,
price
you got to do
gouged,
what you got to
yeah.
do. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
we're-
also have to
right,
make
we're-
it sustainable for
Right,
yourself.
we're trying to make money, but we're not trying to gouge anybody.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
And
Well, we need to keep the farmers around because if not, this meat,
Scary.
that stuff, don't nobody want that mess,
that's
right?
scary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
it's weird to
terrifying.
think about.
It
It's so
is.
weird to think
It
about.
is. It is.
And it's also terrifying. Speaking of McDonald's, have you ever seen those videos of those Happy Meals from like years and years ago? There's no mold. There's nothing. They're just like perfect.
I know
We
that's-
really trying to get sued by McDonald's right now.
That's not a suable offense. I'm just saying. I'm
It's-
stating a fact.
I've
Is
seen
that a
it.
fact or is that just a video? Somebody making a video?
No,
of
no,
it?
no.
I think
it's a
they're kinda
fact.
proud of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Actually, I
yes.
think they're. Yeah,
No,
I
I think it's in a museum.
Yeah, I
If
think
I'm
so.
if I'm thinking right.
Yes, I've
It's
seen
like-
it
yes,
before.
it's
Yeah, I
like-
think
it's like
something they're
in
proud
like
of, so
a-
I think we're good.
Okay. The views,
McDonald's, we love you. Please don't sue us.
The views expressed on this podcast is not necessarily that
It's
of
opinions,
U-turn.
not facts. It's opinions. We can all have opinions.
All right. All right. Only thing I know is, in my opinion, Valley Farms meat is the best meat on the planet. How about that?
I know, I'm so
No,
excited.
I appreciate that. That's such a compliment.
All right, let me buy 2 steaks off you.
No, I had the T-bones. I got some ground beef. You can get some
I
ground
don't
beef.
want ground beef.
Yeah, but I got a couple of them T-bones. Them T-bones gonna be fire. And some porterhouses. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I need your number.
Ooh, it's
I will
gonna-
give you your number.
But
So.
listen, so how did so now are you planning? So you're the last generation. Do you have somebody you think?
Not quite sure how that's
Yeah,
play out yet.
yeah. I mean,
yeah.
5 generations. That's huge.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And is
So-
your daughter your only one?
No, I have a son too. He went
Good.
to go do his own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What does he do?
He works at Belson's right now.
Mm.
So
I don't
Yeah.
even know what that is.
he's a scrapyard.
Oh, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
He's always been kind of mechanical and
Oh, nice.
yeah.
And that's just
so-
what he
Mhm.
that's what he chose to do.
Yeah,
Well, we got
Maybe
a
in the future he'll decide that he wants to run the farm.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Well, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because I
Does
feel like a
your
little
son
farmer.
your son, or maybe you were looking for a new career.
Well, listen. So they're trying to get me. We found a place, a house on the. It came with the 10 acres. Now the wife's trying to get me to buy more acres. I'm like, for what? What are you thinking? But
She wants a farm.
she wants chickens and
You
all
should
that
have seen
stuff.
her in her like little cute cowboy boots and
Oh,
And a
that's
hat on. I'm
And
like,
her little
that's,
cowboy
but but
hat.
that's
She
not
said, "I
what
wanna be a
farming like. She
farmer."
got to know what farm. I told her, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have her come and work with you for a week and make sure that she still wants to do the farm thing.
We'll get some cow poop on those.
You know, get some cowboys
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
there
get some
because her
cowboy
boots are
on
not
those
like
boots.
that. We was just talking at the office, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, she got the little cowboy boots and she's dancing around. I said, that's not cowboys. That's not the boots you wear. So she needs to know what the boots are.
Yeah.
We're gonna show her the real deal.
yeah.
Yeah, because it doesn't hardly ever fail where you'll step in a cow pie.
Really, you just gotta deal with it.
You're looking, you're walking around. If you're walking in there with them and you're paying attention to other things, you might step in one.
Yeah.
And
accidentally, or-
plus, you got to keep your head on the swivel. You got a bunch of animals around.
well,
right?
yeah, you got to watch them because
Yeah.
they are animals.
They're animals,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
And they're big animals.
They're big animals. They're 1,500 pounds. So,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
You
I
need
never
to watch
realized
them. And
cows.
right now, like even
1,500 pounds.
I
yeah.
didn't
Yeah,
realize
like-
they weighed that much.
1,800
Oh my
pounds.
gosh.
The bulls can be even more.
Oh my god.
But you got to kind of like
Yeah.
because they're very, very protective. Which
Sure.
of course they're good mommies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Don't
Yeah,
mess
I
with
mean,
their
yeah,
babies.
those are their babies.
They will charge you. And, I mean, there's one that you go out there and I swear you look at her baby and she's like,
Really?
nope. She'll moo at you and she'll look at you. She gives you like this death stare and it's like,
You're
we're friends.
Yeah. I fed
Not
you.
right now.
You're like, get away from my baby.
It's I fed you. Huh?
Yeah, I feed you and I still feed you every day and it's like, but that's my baby.
yeah. So you
Uh-huh.
gotta take care of mom. You gotta take care.
Which is good because when they take care of their babies like that, that's really good because then you get healthy babies.
And healthy
Yeah.
meat.
Yes, and happy babies and
Yeah.
Happy beef.
happy beef.
It's good.
So-
What? I'm just saying. Don't be
You know
jealous.
what? I have to do a commercial for Kevin now.
I know.
Right.
We have like 5 Ford pickups on our farm.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
Yes. Ford.
We have a
Ford is an
2000
American truck.
We have a 2000 Ford,
Uh huh.
a 2004 F350.
Yes.
And that thing it's got a little rust on it.
Yeah.
I want to say 300,000 miles.
And it's still trucking.
Hold on, and I've seen Melissa drive that 350. She is not. Yes, she is.
Well, that one kind of stays at the farm.
Yes.
But it's funny because that one is the one that you get in, and the air conditioner always
Yeah.
works, and the heat always works, and
The big
I-
350.
Yeah, they
That
don't. I mean,
thing-
they don't build stuff like they used to.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
think about it,
everything,
that
The
though.
new Ford do. Yeah, except for the,
The new
Fords. They
Ford,
still
yeah,
build the Fords
new
the way
Ford,
they used to.
Fords are decent. Fords are awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah,
They take a
Fords are so
beating.
reliable. Yeah.
My truck takes a beating, and I pull my cattle trailer with it, and
Wow.
So do you do the butching yourself too?
No.
What? Why
No.
did you say it like that?
Because she just said she's close to him. No,
I
but she,
know, but I
know, but
wasn't
she said when you have to
So
leave.
where do you bring it?
She said when you have to leave, she don't even like to go when they have to take him away.
I know,
See there?
but
T?
like,
yeah, I do have to bring them sometimes.
but I didn't know
Yeah.
if.
Yeah, so we use the locker plant in Chenoa, so I'm gonna
Okay.
do a little
Yeah.
commercial for them too.
Yeah.
The Chenoa locker plant in
Yeah.
Chenoa, Illinois. It's a little bit of a hike, but the people, it's a veteran owned.
Oh,
Oh,
that's awesome.
Such a nice guy that
Yes.
owns it. The
Yeah.
people that work there are so nice.
They
do
really
an
are.
amazing job. I can't say enough about them. I think a lot of local people around here use them.
Yeah.
Well, I know when you had them, they called me, right?
Yes.
And I was just like this.
Did they ask how you want your meat cut?
They
Yes.
did ask me how I want my
Oh,
meat
that's
cut.
nice.
Well, here's the crazy, again, I'm not the cooker in the family, right? So I don't know. So you could tell they knew that I was kind of brand new to this whole deal.
Yeah.
So I said, hold on, let me get my general manager. He's the cooker. Let me find out. So I had to go back and get Swank and St. Swank. They asked me about how to cut the meat up. I said, I just want steaks. I don't know about the rest of the stuff. Right?
Porterhouses are my favorite.
Oh man, well,
Make as many steaks as you can.
make as many
Yes.
steaks as you can. And they were so nice. And she said, no, it's fine. And then they called me and they said, well, we'll call you back and tell you when it's done. Then they called me back and tell me it's done. But of course, I got like 50,000 things going on. I forgot. So when you reached out to me yesterday, I was like, yes, my meat. Right?
And then you thought it was an April Fool's joke.
I did because you met Melissa, the other Melissa, who played the April Fool's joke, talking about Buc-ee's coming to town.
Were you excited for Buc-ee's to come?
I've been hearing about the brisket, and I'm a brisket guy. I want the brisket.
I've never been to a Buc-ee's.
Me neither. It's like all over the place.
He's like, I've never been there, but I
feel
really
like
want one.
Everybody want here.
I know people put it on Facebook.
Right.
Or their Snapchat, and I'm like, what am I missing?
Right.
Yeah, what is up with Buc-ee's?
Well, that's what it is. Melissa and them, I didn't even know nothing about Buc-ee's, but the Melissa and them in the office, they kept talking about Buc-ee's. They talking about going to plan a trip, right? So then she sent us a thing, sent us here. So I'm like, they're like, you never heard of Buc-ee's? No, I never heard of Buc-ee's. They showed me the video and all this, and then I saw this big old brisket. I'm like, you know what? That might
I
not
want
be
a
a better
Buc-ee's.
place. Like, how can I get some brisket? How about because I didn't know how the cow broke down. So when I was talking to him, I didn't know the quarter doesn't include the brisket. I gotta get the upper part.
Mm-hmm.
I need a brisket.
I got a couple briskets in the freezer for you.
I
I was
know.
going to just go ahead and bring them, but
I get them.
I'll
I'll
get 'em
come get them. Maybe
He likes
give 'em a
extra fat on his brisket too.
I do
know
like
that.
extra fat on the brisket. We should. Yeah, right.
some of them are pretty fat. So I
That's
imagine there's some fat on there.
yeah, I
so,
like it. I like it.
yeah.
So do you only sell whole cows or quarters or halves or?
We sell them by the quarter, the half, the whole, and then we have extra at the farm that's already cut up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
We have steaks, we have hamburgers, we have roasts, we have stew meat,
Oh.
we have liver, we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. This is it, and I should ask the ladies on the phone. Do people ever ask for cow brain?
I don't think they're allowed to do that.
Anymore?
I don't think it's something that
Can't
they're
you get
allowed
like
to do
really
anymore.
sick from eating?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
I
Really?
think there was something like back when the mad cow thing
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
was a
Yes.
thing. I think that's when they
Okay.
stopped doing
Because
it.
people
but-
used to eat that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then they had mad cow disease.
Right. We've had people with restaurants ask for the tongue.
The tongue, right? You can't do that
Yeah.
either?
Oh yeah, we can do the tongue.
I remember I
the
used to have
heart,
tongue while I was coming up.
Oxtail.
Oxtail, I've had oxtail, yes.
So
yes.
do you supply to any local restaurants or?
There's a couple of restaurants that have asked for some stuff, and we sell a little bit to
Yeah,
them.
Yeah.
but you don't want to
yeah.
like overdo it or?
Well, right now we don't have enough cows to keep a restaurant.
Yeah.
Afloat.
Totally
Yeah.
supplied.
Yeah, yeah.
It's nice because we can. There's a restaurant in Morocco that John, who works for me, works with me. He's close. He goes there a lot.
Yeah.
And she'll buy round steaks
Mm-hmm.
and do a steak special.
Oh.
And so
Yeah.
she does
Like
a little
here and
bit
there.
of that.
Sure.
and,
Yeah.
Yeah, like unfortunately we don't have enough right now, like to supply her with hamburgers or anything like
Yeah.
that.
I know.
because She
That's
does
the-
a lot of them. So
Yeah.
Yeah, they stuff goes
Yeah.
quick. It goes
Yeah.
quick. So,
yeah.
but
And there's a couple of Mexican restaurants that have asked for the tongue tacos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a big thing. Yeah, we just a little bit, but not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So it's something we would like to do. Like we'd like to expand and like to grow, but we got to get a lot more.
okay.
Yeah. A lot more going.
Well, this has been great. This has
I
been
know,
absolutely
yeah,
great. Thank you.
fantastic.
I know this is the last minute, so here, this is another plug for Valley Farm. She was doing a delivery. I said, hey, can you be on our podcast?
And she said, "I've never done this before, but yeah."
I know, but that smile, I knew it was going to do. That smile is amazing.
Yeah.
That's what got me to buy it from the beginning. So thank you, Melissa. You are fantastic. And again, I'm so excited about the partnership. I'm so glad that that I met you. And I look forward to many more times here. So
Yeah.
And apparently Emma's going to be using
Yes,
you too.
I'm gonna-
Well, I appreciate
Yes.
any plug that we can get. And
Yes.
get her name out there. And I
Well-
appreciate it. I really enjoyed knowing you, Kevin. It's
Yeah.
been great. So.
This is gonna be great. So we're gonna make sure we get the logo. We're gonna have Cooper. I always gotta give a shout out to Cooper in the background. He don't say much, but he is our producer, and he will
Thanks,
and make sure
Cooper.
that he gets your information. And we plug it on there, so we have the logos and everything and the contact information. If they wanted to contact you right away, how is it? A website? Is it a phone? What's the easiest way? Facebook?
Yeah, the easiest way is my cell phone.
Okay.
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 That's the easiest way. Our page is Valley View Angus on
Okay.
Facebook.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Valley View Angus on Facebook and her cell phone. We'll give you all the contact information. Melissa, you're fantastic. Thank you for jumping in, and thank you for changing the way I eat.
Yes.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate